good day, everyone. It is with great pleasure that I'm gonna describe this multi-tenant application in the healthcare domain. It is a cloud solution that has now over 12,000 registered users across 40 administrations, with usage peak of hundreds of concurrent sessions. Talk about me for very little bit. I'm a PowerServer enthusiast. I've used PowerBuilder from the previous millennium and also Appeon MVP, often presenting practical seminaries, especially PowerServer-wise, at European PowerBuilder user groups. As such, in the recent past, I've put my hands in many projects for converting PowerBuilder applications to the web and mobile architectures. But I've also spent the last 5 years busy with a PhD in machine learning applied to big data ecosystems. The success story in this presentation is about a young and small Italian consulting company, HMS Consulting. It is specialized in management solutions in the public health system, with focus on activity planning and monitoring, business models, contracts, training, and HR development. The application is called AlphaBox. Don't really know the origin of the name, but you have box because it is indeed a suite of applications, while alpha is the first Greek letter and it is often used in educational contexts like consulting of this type. It is an SaaS multi-tenant application with per tenant database. It is currently deployed to more than 40 healthcare institutions across the country with more than 12,000 users. It is an integrated solution for meritocracy, budgeting, scoring, and process optimization. It offers the big plus of real-time view of work performance and distribution of incentives to the employees, otherwise traditionally going through several administrative round-trips. It features sign-up, document repository, and a mobile dashboard, and it interfaces to and from third-party software providing medical records and other business information. Let's go more into non-technical details about the demographics of the application. It is used by 41 institutes at the moment, more than 12,000 end users. Number of employees per institute is 800 to 6,000, especially when they are located in the capital, Rome, where complexity becomes a challenge. More than 65,000 annual individual profiles is the number of employees being processed every year, which leads to almost 600,000 scores and per institute economic budget that ranges between 1 million and 10 million euros. 95% of automation refers to management processes that have been automated by the software. 70% reduction of personnel dedicated to the system management, which can be therefore employed in other activities, and 80% reduction of process workflow management. The map here shows location of the server farm in orange. Blue dots are customer distribution throughout center and south of the peninsula. You may wonder why we have zero penetration in the north of the country, while we are truly dominant everywhere else. While purple kinda cog here identifies off-site access to, so from home computers, not just company computers. A few words about key functionality. Main aspects here in the yellow rectangles, each one including a number of tasks, which can also interleave. I asked the company to prepare this slide for those of you who actually want to read what the business is made of, primarily the processing of granular clinical activity details and dynamic individual profiles for computing appropriate indicators for the accounting and the budgeting systems. So why PowerServer? Alright, big deal here. Hope you got a grasp of how many functionality the app has all started back in 2011 from nothing, just a bunch of ideas in the mind of the company's CEO. Resources in terms of skilled consultants were limited. As you may imagine, also money was limited, but there was the ambition to build up an effective modern web application for supporting the knowledge and the expertise the company has in the domain. So when I was asked how to build the software, I was just, at the end of a wonderful experience in academic and research context, quite up with the times. I mean, Java and the Linux-based open source solutions. But I stepped back and said, wait, here we need to sell something. It's not research and experiments anymore. We need to convince customers we are not just yet another, we have a quality product that can evolve with an agile approach, hot fixes, etc. So I already experienced with PowerServer and somehow I had the feeling it was, different. With fast development curve, a brand new project would allow for fresh three-tier programming best practices instead of typical migration of something that was already existing and therefore built for client server with different development techniques. PowerServer was different because it was already a solid solution and with overall 2 years, 2 engineering years of development, which translates, for example, to 4 engineers working for 6 months. If not using PowerServer, the work would be exponentially more. The system architecture. AlphaBox was born as an internal application, bearing in mind that it had to deliver good responsiveness and low latency, like PowerBuilder application running on local area network. And this pushed the boundaries of the implementation techniques to maximize data caching and minimize server calls. So PowerServer is here the center of gravity. It plays well with all the key technologies entities. First of all, simplified deployment to the user because of its architecture, .NET platform and installable web applications and native mobile application. Then server-side deployable and PowerBuilder friendly components. We have SOAP web services that are used to interface third-party software and implement automated importing and exporting of vendor electronic data files. We have cloud deployable REST API with .NET Core that we use for sign-up process to send batch emails, and soon also for replacing some heavy business logic. Then we have the Appeon built-in file service for document repository. And we also have .NET Assembly built from PowerBuilder for some data analytics. So AlphaBox follows the software as a service model. HMS Consulting does not sell licenses, but each customer makes rent payment. It features a per tenant database. So we have a login database that stores user credentials, database name, and also what modules of the entire box here of, uh, of modules the customers has purchased. This is straightforward with the dynamic data source features provided by PowerServer. But there is already a roadmap of technical enhancements. These new pieces connected by the red lines are next stage of the project under development with big data REST interface to Hadoop, now possible with full-fledged PowerServer support for HTTP client and REST client objects, as well as here OAuth 2 security that is going to phase out traditional username-based authorization. And last, technology profile. System-wise, AlphaBox, it is high-end cloud-based solution. Hardware specs are 2 CPUs octa-core, very fast network connectivity, 1 gigabits input-output. Operating systems, we have 2 development branches based on Git that we call the tag, that is the live version, and the trunk with latest development. However, they share the same database, so we can test the new features without copying databases. Database version. We started with earlier version of PowerBuilder and PowerServer, and once C# Web Services added to PowerBuilder 2019, we upgraded. So we API enable the cloud system, PowerServer 2019 for installable web app, for mobile native application, C# Web API integration for heavy business logic, the Appeon built-in file service for document repository, and the dynamic data source feature for the per tenant database. Finally, SOAP Web Service for interoperability and batch printing. Personal skill sets. There is a PowerServer expert, myself, PowerBuilder senior developer, still myself, backup manager, ADI mapping specialist, then an expert in data modeling, another person who is skilled with InfoMaker for taking care of the data window UI, a DBA in SQL Anywhere 17 with knowledge of stored procedure, and system architects dealing with extensive knowledge of large-scale system and big data.
Let me show you some parts of the application. As I said, it is a PowerServer installable web app, so I will start it right from my desktop. There is no need for a web browser. Here in the link property you see I'm pointing to the HMS Consulting website. I start the app. This is the login window, and I can input several, of course, user and password. It's a multi-tenant application with per tenant database, so depending on the user and password, I will see different company data and also the modules of the AlphaBox applications that are purchased, that are enabled for the company. So this is one. This is another one. You can see the logo is changing. Here below I show we are running in HTTPS and the number of concurrent sessions. We have 309 concurrent users at the moment. Now, since there are sensitive data, let me choose a demo database. It contains fake employees, so I can go through the application windows without any privacy concern. So I'll pick just a module. This one provides assessment of working performance. It is a decentralized management. Each manager or doctor is in charge of evaluating the collaborators here. And according to the computed performance values, the money is distributed through departments, through units, offices, and finally down to per quota, down to individuals. For instance, here. This kind of trivial data window is typical in PowerBuilder, and it is what brings big value in web, because with this live view, in a matter of seconds, milliseconds, the expected and actual money flow is shown for thousands of employees. This is the number of employees. It is the result of a drill down by 6 levels of organization and times many reduction columns here to the right, and so it is done through bidirectional rows and columns dynamic data window aggregation functions from team level assets down to pro capita quota, which is brilliantly solved by PowerServer. Of course, each module has a specific purpose. For example, here we move to actual therapies and treatments. We can monitor availability of places for hospitalization or visits. The doctor booked the agenda, conflicts are automatically solved, and they can specify expected cost for the treatments, which lead to cost planning and revenue prediction. And a series of reports and printouts which are important for the business. As I said, There is also a mobile front end, which is used by the management offices or company directorate for modeling purposes. Here you see my phone. This version provides several already functionalities. You can select information about the employees, some dashboard, you can display several contents, and this version is going soon to be extended with functionality that will be used by the individuals too, which of course will increase a lot the number of concurrent sessions, and it is also a source of inspirations for making the web installable web app version to adopt the same user interface, because it's very easy with PowerServer to keep one code base for both web and mobile platforms.